briefly about how to connect Ethica application to smart watches or any wristbands through the Bluetooth. Since every project, every ongoing project don't need this feature, so we had to design and implement a separated app that's connecting and working together with the with Ethica. We call it Empatica plugin. For Ethica, you can see that on the applications running on the device, we have two separated apps. This is Empatica E4 stream, designed for this watch, is running as a service. And our main app, Ethica, is, you can see it here. And when you install, we need to install both apps on a cell phone. When you install both apps, the Ethica, this notification shows that it's active and it's collecting the data. And this notification shows that you can connect or disconnect to the watch through the phone. And if you drag this notification, it shows that the Empatica service ready. It shows the status. It has ready, disconnected, connected, and some permission not granted. So there's a button on the this watch to put the watch through discovery mode, searching for USB devices. So I'm going to push it, and when it flashes green, it means that it's in discovery mode. And on the watch, there is two buttons. I'm going to connect to the And on the notification, you can see that the status is connected. And from the sensor, it also turned on. But I can disconnect it from the phone and by pushing disconnected here, and you can see the light is turned off. And so, yeah, we already connected. And also here, it says disconnected. I'm going to reconnect one more time. The phone is in flashing mode. It's discovered. The watch, sorry.
So you can imagine, you know, a participant having this, getting up after charging it. You know, they go and they press the button to connect. Hopefully they don't have to see here, but
yeah.
No, they won't be looking at this. But they then will don the watch, use it for the course of the day, and meanwhile that data is streaming out to their phone.
Yeah.
How close would the watch have to be to the phone?
This is exactly works as Bluetooth device. So the same as like your Bluetooth headphone and your phone, or
you can't accidentally leave your phone at home.
No.
But it depends on the wristband. For example, this watch is supposed to record the data if even the phone is disconnected on a flash and local RAM. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's sometimes not working, even this watch.
Yeah, but then we don't, I think we don't have an interface to read it from.
No, no, yeah, yeah. It's not public.
That could be done if there were support for it in a later contract. There are a lot of potentials in this one. One of the reasons that actually the price of this watch is high is that it's a research version, means that a lot of things, some
cutting-edge technology, but at the same time very unstable. So they have some documentations, but like we literally need to read that text that you saw that was just scrolling very fast. We literally have to constantly look at it and see what's happening, and based on that, tweak things. The interface is, well, it's terrible, I believe. It shows two notifications and everything, but well, that's the only thing that we could have make it to work. So it's not really something that you can plan for deploying to 10,000 people. It's more of like a focus group that that you can deploy these tools, these watches to them, because it requires a lot more interactions between every participant.
Right. So have you done some cross-linking with activity, for example? Can you see those screens against sort of when you see somebody exercising or just walking or?
We haven't started analyzing the data from it yet. We're just working on the interface to connect to it. But one of the sensors of this is accelerometer, which is exactly the same as the accelerometer on
Except
phone.
the placement.
Except the placement. The placement is actually a very, very important factor, because for the phone you don't know where it's placed, but for the watch you know it's at very east. So it's actually the same accelerometer is using the phone, and it's using Fitbit, and it's using this watch, because it's one company that produces these chips and sells to all these companies and use them. So the chip is the same, but it's used in different tools, and they can be interpreted differently.
Right, and do you want to just point to the website for this, for the Empatica E4, just so they can?
The original company?
Yeah,
the website for the watch, so that if they want to read more about it, they can.
So just that output, that's each second, not being output each second, is that right? Their runs of heart rate.
I don't know what is the frequency, honestly. Do you know what?
So I can see those sort of as a batch of accelerometer and a batch
Yeah,
of
BVP. It was a batch of accelerometer, batch of BVP, but I don't know what is the frequency. They have a documentation. I haven't really looked at it yet.
Mohammed, maybe you could help me just call up the browser and go to.
Sure. I think you have to pull it over.
So is this the one that they're using with kids?
Yeah. They're using it right now.
Okay.
With children. It's just that's the version not with Ethica, because right now Empatica offers an online browsing of uploaded data, and they're actually using it for clinical insight. I mean, they're saying it's actually quite insightful clinically to be able to observe. And it's not just in the clinic; they're actually taking it home, and they can actually observe stress events and notable transitions in a child's day, and things that are keeping them really worked up. What it's detecting through heart rate variability is information related to what's called parasympathetic aspect of the autonomic nervous system, and that's one avenue by which stress responses are relevant. There's another one, sympathetic, which is picked up by cortisol in hair or blood or saliva, and so they're saying that it's actually very, very insightful. But they're looking at it through that interface, and one of the questions they have is, what's going on at these different times, and they'd really like to cross-link it with self-reporting on the phone, right? So where people can indicate things or take a photo or go and link it in with where it is, GPS-wise, or who's around at that time, and really hence the Ethica solution for this. It's to bring in this broader set of measurements and the self-reporting by the participant to explain things.
So is this measures of both distress and eustress? Is it, what is it?
Sorry,
Measures of distress, but also eustress as well. I mean, do you know if this is, depending which direction it goes, it tells you, if they're excited or if they're fearful?
Right. Yeah. So that's the hope, is to be able to delineate in a more fine-grained level some of the more detailed responses. But so it turns out that the literature related to heart rate variability measurement is considerable, but it's much less voluminous than the literature associated with sympathetic responses to stress, the sympathetic nervous system, and we've been talking with some people who are leading experts in interpreting heart rate variability and relating it to stress. But suffice it to say, there's a lot of big open research questions about how well we'll be able to pin down certain types of states on the part of an individual over time. And one of the things that Amin is doing for his master's thesis is just exploring the combination of this with dynamic models of physiological stress response and so on. And ideally, the hope is to get some data coming in the October timeframe and November timeframe and look at it from a state-based perspective and still allow Amin to get out earlier, but to try to look at how people transition in this space and how it relates to recorded events.
So also the galvanic skin response as well. Obviously, that's
exactly.
Just scroll down.
Maybe you can scroll down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So here's the blood. This PPG is to measure blood volume pulse, and from that, Amin has worked in an algorithm to identify to get interbeat intervals, which can then be used to calculate heart rate variability. This is not a standard pulse meter. That won't cut it when it comes to measuring heart rate variability. It's actually looking at a very detailed level the shape of the pulses, and then 3S accelerometer. They have internally an event mark button, but you can't really annotate it and so on in a detailed level. And then you have the galvanic skin response here. And
traditionally was GSR. Now it's EDA.
So, say that again.
Previously.
Previously it was GSR. Now it's electrodermal activity. Yeah. I see. And then there's the skin temperature and a clock. So
it doesn't have oxygen saturation then? It's
no.
It's not blood honest.
My daughter doesn't.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of prospects for this, but there's a lot of learning that goes on. And Empatica's watch, coupled with Ethica's data aggregation ecosystem, allowing participant voices, in the form of self-reports, I think promises a lot of potential here.
So how much is one of those?
This one's $1,600 Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's roughly Australian too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're pretty expensive. The hope is they keep on saying they're coming out with an Embrace, right?
Yeah.
Which supposedly will offer what? Does it offer heart rate variability?
No, it's a commercial product. That's
So what do the commercial ones like? Your iPhone, your iWatch, and what's the other one? Yeah, there's
Motorola typically is the Android Moto 360.
and that does
And
heart rate.
it does heartbeat measure, but not heart rate variability.
Yeah.
And I don't think if any of them have heartbeat variability. They all have hearts.
Okay.
Neo does their big application
You could just click on that and discover if you want to avoid the menu.
Yeah.
so they're very keen on being able to get heart rate stuff
For a cheaper price point.
for a cheaper price point. And I haven't talked to them about 6 months, but when I talked to them, they had bought new sensors in some manufacturer, and now
Maybe you could scroll down to see the actual sensors.
but it's not clear because it's commercial.
Oh, it's not clear.
No.
Can you go down a bit?
It's kind of quite intrusive.
Yes.
Looking at
Yes.
We're standing up, and so my watch is telling me I need to stand up, because they're hitting you with little signals,
Right. So this is the Embrace here. You can see it does not have heart rate variability for that, but it does have EEA and gyroscope accelerometer, peripheral temperature sensor. And I think there's a lot of learning as to what sorts of insights are possible under practical circumstances for each, but particularly in the mental health area.
Yeah.
And understanding the impacts of stress responses on health outcomes. I think there's a tremendous amount of possibility by combining these tools with from smartphones. But it's really, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Each one in isolation is only a piece of the picture. And Amin is putting them together, with the whole being greater than the sum of the parts. Yeah. Very good. So let's thank Amin for his presentation, if we could. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Mohammed, do you want to come up and do the iPhone Ethica demonstration?